6th of February, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Who's all right.
Who's what?
Who's maybe got a machine thing next door to you or something and does work there. No?
It's pretty far away. It depends which, but sometimes there's always buildings going up, but it depends upon how far away it is today. There's one about 2 blocks away and about 4 blocks away.
There's the same sound all the time.
Yeah, it sounds to me like it's something closer to your computer.
Yes.
Maybe a fan or
Yeah, it could be just
something like that.
Okay, I'll put it on mute and we'll talk when I have to. It's
I
okay.
can hear it right now. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Thanks for letting me in, Rabbi Levitt.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's go.
Page 98A, 98.3, is that what we
I
are?
believe we did we get up to the Mishnah?
No.
Not yet?
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, we were on the cliffhanger. We had a cliffhanger.
That's right.
We're looking in the Gemora in Bava Basra. You have to get a Gemora in Bava Basra 50b, I think it is.
$50A1, is it?
I have 58.2.
Ah, well, I've got 50A1 written down here. Maybe it starts there.
Okay. Well, let's see here. Everybody have the place? Bava Basra.
I have 58.2. Near the bottom of the page on 50A. A Maymar.
Okay.
The Eboyas Ama, I think, is where we were.
Oh, here, yeah. Here we are. Okay. Okay. Okay, so if we could try to okay, so let's just go for the Ebois Ema. That's what we're up to over here. Ebois Ema, and Roy said, what if we don't want to I said that means if you want, we could say. So Roy said, what if we don't want? So I remember that's where we're holding now.
Right,
Thanks
yeah.
for Roy's comment.
Yeah, because the word prefer infers that you have a choice. And it might mean that either choice is acceptable.
I would say let's translate it instead of if you prefer, let's translate it as alternatively.
Okay.
What's the word prefer or alternatively in Ivrit? Which is the word there?
Ibois.
Ibois.
Ema means say, to say.
And Ibois actually means what?
Alternatively.
It actually means alternatively, does it?
No, it means if you want.
If you want. Okay, so if you
That's why I originally translated like that.
right, so it was used to mean if you want, if you prefer, or if you want, it's the same thing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same letters as like when the Gemora says boy Rava or boy Abaya. What did that mean? That it means that he posed a question. Why? Because he had a need. He had a need to explore this point. I think it really comes from the language of needing or wanting. Could be either needing or wanting. Okay.
But the reason I want to say alternatively is because in the context, I believe what's happening is we've been given a explanation, and now we're going to be given a second explanation. And the second explanation is an alternative to the first explanation. You can understand it one way, or maybe you can understand it another way.
So that's why the word prefer is there.
That's
Right.
why I want to say alternatively instead of prefer.
In other words, the preferring, the reason why we say preferring or want is because they're both of them have a validity. Both interpretations have a validity to them. We're not going to reject either one of them. But they're very different from one another. Even though they're both trying to interpret the words of a Maimar. Okay, so now let's just one thing we should do though, when okay, so let's just continue. Let's continue whatever it is that we got to do over here. Who wants to read? E-voice Ema, and you can translate it however you prefer. If you have an alternative explanation, then
All right.
okay, Roy.
Please. If you prefer, say that an Ema's ruling is indeed not in agreement with our Mishnah. Amema Doma Eloi. However, Amar stated in his ruling, following the opinion of Reb Elazar, Tanya for a Baraita is taught, Mocha es Avador. If one sells his slave, Ufasok Amor, and stipulates with the buyer, Sheyishenu Shaloshim Yom, that the slave should continue to serve him for 30 days. Rab Meir Omer says, Harashon, the first, that is the original owner, Yeshanu Badin Yom or Yomaim. The first owner is subject to the rule of a day or two if he should strike the slave and cause his death. Mipnei Shahu Tachtiv, because the slave is still under his authority. Shani, whereas
Tachtov. Right.
for Hashani, whereas the second owner, the one who bought the slave, Eino Bedin Yom or Yomayim, is not subject to the rule of a day or two. Mipnei, because Sheano Sachatov, because the slave is not under his authority. The Gemara interrupts the Brisa to explain Reb Meir's view. Sova, Reb Meir maintains, Kinyan Peros, Kinyan Aguf Dami, that ownership of the produce of the thing is tantamount to the ownership of the essence. Ownership of the produce of the thing is tantamount to the ownership of the essence, so they're not separate. Right? Reb Yehuda Omer, Shani, the second owner, Yishno, Bedin Yom or Yomim, is subject to the rule of a day or two. He disagrees. Mipnei Shaho Kispo, because the slave is his property. Arashon, whereas the first owner, Aini Bedin Yom or Yomim, is not subject to the rule of a day or two. Shiano Kaspo, because the slave is not his property. Will I go on with Rabbi Yehuda's view, or do you want to stop there?
Yeah, let's you read until the end. Kinyan Paris Lab Kasova Kinyan Paris Lab Kinyan Goof Dummy.
No.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, that'll be the up until there. That'll be sufficient to read.
Okay. Kosva Rebbe Huda maintains Kinyan Piros Lev Kinyan Guf Dami, that ownership of the produce of a thing is not tantamount to the ownership of the thing's essence. But the Brisa resumes. Reb Yosef.
That's it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, if you remember, this Bryce over here has a number of different opinions to it, and the reason that we're quoting this Bryce is for the fourth opinion. That's Rebbe Elazar's opinion. So in the meantime, we're wading through the first three opinions, and you read the first two. Talk about this case. So we actually saw this Bryce before, so we're going to be we saw it and explained it. So we're just really doing review over here, just to clarify what the case is that we're talking about over here, since it's Yom Rishon, and maybe people did not remember what it is that the case is that these four opinions are talking about. The case is that we've got a guy. He has a Eved Kanani, and he sells it to the buyer, and he says that he wants the right to use the Eved to serve him for the first 30 days of his employ. So now we got so now the Bryce is focusing on the halacha of who is the one of these two individuals has the din of Yom Yomayim. And remember the din of Yom Yomayim? That's if the owner of the Eved Kanani kills the Eved Kanani, but he stays alive for the first day or two before he passes away. So then there's this din of Yom Yomayim that since he's his property, he will not be executed, the owner. Whereas if anybody else would do this to this Eved Kanani, even though he's an Eved Kanani, anybody else would be executed. So that's the din of Yom Yomayim. So therefore, we have a machlokes here between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir. Is the seller who has the Kinyan Paris in the Eved for 30 days, or is the buyer the one who has the Kinyan Guf in the Eved for forever? Is he the one who's subject to the din of Yom Yomayim? Does he have that kula, really, that leniency of Yom Yomayim? Only the owner has. So Rabbi Meir says the seller, he's the one that has the din of Yom Yomayim, and not the buyer, because he holds Kinyan Paris as Kinyan Guf. And Rabbi Yehuda holds that no, it's the sheni, it's the buyer. The buyer, he's the one who's regarded as the owner of the Eved, because Kinyan Paris is lav to Kinyan Guf, and so therefore, according to Rabbi Yehuda, only the sheni has a Kinyan Guf in the essence, in the actual Eved. And the seller, all he has really is a right to receive the services of the Eved for 30 days. He's renting out the Eved, so to speak. That was part of the deal of the sale. But that doesn't mean that he has any ownership over the Eved. So that's the first two opinions. And now we're going to go to Rabbi Yossi, and then after that we're going to go to the opinion that we're looking for, Rabbi Elazar. And we're going to see that the way we're going to explain the Maimar, if you remember that case, we'll review it again when we get over there, that he holds like Rabbi Elazar. That would be another alternative way to explain a Maimar according to Rabbi Elazar. So in the meantime, we're going to go with reading Rabbi Yossi Omer. And for that, we turn to Alan to read Rabbi Yossi Omer.
I don't have that
It can be
available.
found on the last three words of the page.
I don't have that available right now.
Okay. So, Lou, would you like to read these words?
Rabbi Yossi Omer. Rabbi Yossi says, the comment says, the Brisa resumes. Shnehem yish nan bedin yom o yomayim. Yom o yomayim. Both are subject to the rule of a day or two. Zeh mipnei shehu tachtav. This one, because he is under him, that meaning the slave is under the authority of this one. V'zeh mipnei shehu kaspo. And this one, because he is his property. So he's not being clear about which one is which one. But my English says that the original owner is the first one, and the buyer is the second one. I don't know where it's getting that from.
Okay, so let's understand this. Let's understand this. What is the basis for saying that when we say Zeh mipnei shehu tachtov, he's under his authority? Under whose authority is he for the first 30 days?
So if you say the original owner, then you're holding that it's because he has the Kinyan Perus.
Isn't it because he made the arrangement? Didn't he say?
Yeah.
Didn't he say, I'll sell the slave to you, but I want him for the first 30 days, and then you can have him.
Right. So for these first 30 days, That's the issue over here. Why the first 30 days is the issue? Because the case is that what if one of them or the other one, we're just saying hypothetically, killed him the first 30 days. That's the only case where we have a question. If he's killed after the first 30 days, we've got no question, because at that point, the buyer owns the peros and also the goof of the eved. There's no question at all that if he was the one that did it, that he would avail himself of that leniency of Yom HaYomayim. And the other one, the buyer, rather the seller, he would be executed for killing the eved. So the whole question is what happens if the eved was killed the first 30 days by either one of them? What would be the din? So we're saying. So we got two statements over here. Rabbi Yossi is saying that both of them will be able to avail themselves of the leniency of Yom HaYomayim. And he's explaining in these two statements why each one of them will be capable of availing himself of this kula of 1 or 2 days. The first explanation is this one, mipnei shehu tachtov. So what does that mean literally? This one will be able to avail himself of the 2-3 days, 1-2 days, I mean, because he is tachtov. The eved is tachtov. The eved is under the authority of this one. Whose authority is he under for the first 30 days?
The owner, the original owner.
Right. That's right, because he's according to the contract, he is obligated to serve the owner for the first 30 days. And so therefore that's what Rabbi Yossi means here when he says he's the one who would avail himself of the 1 or 2 days because the eved is tachtov. The eved is under his authority. Okay, so that would be a way to explain why it is that we would say that the first one, the seller, would be able to avail himself of the 1 or 2 days and get off being executed. Okay, now the second one, the second statement is Zebibdeshu Kaspo. And this one, because he is his property. So what does that refer to? Which person does this refer to?
The second one.
Good guess. Absolutely.
How do you know it's a guess?
The tone of voice you used when you said it.
Okay. Oh, so what's the explanation? Let's translate the words.
The person who bought it is the one who owns it.
Because he's his property. Whose property is this eved? Who can say that eved is my property?
The buyer.
The buyer. Even during the first 30 days, he could say this. If we would say that Kinyan Paris is Lavka Kinyan Naguf, we could say that even for the first 30 days, the buyer, it's his property, and the seller, he just has a right of usage. Okay, so now the Gemora is going to interrupt once again and tell us what's the mechanics over here. What's the lumdus of this of Rabbi Yossi? So let's we read on from. You already read this. Did you read this? Masafkale?
No, I didn't read that yet.
Okay, so that's where we're up to.
Reb Yossi is uncertain. E kanin perus ke kinyan haguf dame. If the acquisition or ownership of the rights to the produce is like the acquisition of the object, in this case, the slave. If it's like that, or lav, not kinyan haguf dami, or maybe the acquisition of the produce is not like the acquisition of the slave.
Right.
V'safek nefashos lahakel. And in the case where we have a doubt regarding capital punishment, we rule leniently, which means, according to Rabbi Yosef, he says, since I'm not sure, we have to say that both of them are entitled to this leniency because it's a capital case.
Correct. Right. Both of them. We have both of them are whether they are going to get this rule of 1 or 2 days depends on how we come out in the halacha of kinyan Paris. Is kinyan Paris kinyan a goof dummy? Is it regarded that somebody who has a right to the productivity of this eved, is that regarded as though he owns the eved? That he has some ownership over the eved himself?
Just a grammatical question. Why did it say kinyan haguf dame? Doesn't ka mean like, and dame also means like?
Yeah.
So why is it like acquisition of the body like? Sounds redundant.
Yeah, I hear. This is always the way if you'll take a look, you'll see that this is the way the Gemora expresses it.
So it's just a phrase.
Yeah, the way to you're asking really on the phrase itself. Why do they really need to? Why does the phrase need to phrase itself in that way? Right. It would be clear if you had either one of the two of them.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know why. That's just that's the phrase. That's the way you phrase it.
Okay. Thanks.
I don't have anything better than that. Okay. So therefore, that's Rebbe Yossi. Okay, and now we're going to come to Rebbe Elazar, and we're going to pay close attention to Rebbe Elazar, because this is the whole reason we brought this whole brisa is to highlight the words of Rebbe Elazar and see how they are going to be the source for the words of a Meimar. So, Phil, would you like to continue the reading?
Phil, you're muted.
He's not
Okay,
used to
make
being
sure
muted.
you can put up with my noise from the background. Okay, we're up to Rebbe Elazar on there?
Yeah.
That we're up to? Okay.
Correct.
Okay, Rebbe Elazar on there. Shnehem eino b'din yom yomaya. Both of them are not on have this rule of 1 day or 2 days. This one, I guess that should be the first one, because he's not under his command, I guess because he sold it already. The second one, because it's not considered his property, his money.
Okay, so this that it says we're gonna play the same game over here also. The Gemora doesn't specify who the Zeh is that it's talking about. Who's the first Zeh over here in the statement of Rebbe Elazar over here? Zeh lefi she'eno tachtov. Now, I'll give you a hint. It's the same explanation that we said according to Rebbe Yossi over here. They both agree on this.
It's in the same order. It has to be in the same order. It's the first and the second. The original, the seller is the first one, and the second one is the buyer.
It's a bit tricky. Okay, so who's the Zeh that we're saying? In other words, we're saying both of them are going to be what does it say? Shnehem einam bedin. In other words, both of them are not going to have the leniency of 1 or 2 days and get off the hook from being executed. Both of them are going to be executed. Both the seller and the buyer, if during the first 30 days they killed the Eved, in that situation, both of them, if either one of them killed him, then either one of them would be executed. And so we're saying Zeh lefisha eno taktov. This one, he will be executed because the Eved is not taktov. He is not under the Eved is not under this one's authority right now. So that would be referring to
an outside killing.
No, between the buyer and the seller. This one, because the Eved is not taktov. He's not the Eved during these first 30 days is not subject to his authority. He's not under his authority, meaning he's not working for him. He's not duty bound to work for him. Who is that referred to?
The second buyer.
Right? That refers to the Sheni. So this is the reason why, according to Rebbe Elazar, that the Sheni would be executed, because there's something which is missing in his ownership of this Eved. Even though he really does own the Eved, he bought the Eved, but since for the first 30 days, the Eved is obligated to serve the buyer. The seller. Since he's obligated to serve the seller, so there's something which is not complete in the ownership right of the second one, and therefore Rebbe Elazar says that for that reason he's not a full owner of this Eved, and therefore since he's not he doesn't have a full kinyan, doesn't have a full complete kinyan in this Eved, and so therefore he can't be regarded as the Adon, as the owner of this Eved, and so therefore he will not have the leniency of Yom Yomayim, and therefore he'll be executed. That's the first thing that Rebbe Elazar says, and then he says V'zeh lefisha eno kaspo. And this one will also be executed if he kills the Eved during the first 30 days, because the Eved is not his property. Meaning, even though the Eved is obligated to serve this person for the first 30 days, but nevertheless, since that person he's serving him because of the agreement. He's not serving him because he's his property. He's not the Eved is not the property of the first person. In other words, the seller, and so therefore the seller also is not being able to avail himself of the leniency of Yom Yomayim, and therefore he will also be executed. Both of them will be executed according to Rebbe Elazar. Oh, and now he says, we conclude over here. Oh no, oh yeah, okay. And now he comes along Rava, the same Rava that we had in our Gemora in Bava Kama. Okay, whose turn is it to read? Roy, you want to read again?
Okay. So the art scroll introduces it by saying the Gemara explains Reb Elazar's ruling. This furnishes the basis for the Gemara statement above in 50a that Reb Elazar disagrees with the Tana of our Mishnah. Amar Rabba, now Rabba said, may Ta'amar Ravi Elazar. What is Reb Elazar's reason for ruling that neither one is exempt from the death penalty? Omer Kara, because the verse states, Lo Yukam Ki Kispo Hu. The death shall not be avenged, for he is his property. Kasko, Hamiyuchod, Lo. The words his property imply that he must be his sole property before the 24-hour leniency applies. And the art scroll goes on a little bit further in explanation. Do you want me to read that?
Okay.
So the words his property imply that it must be his sole property before the 24-hour leniency applies. Since in this case, the slave does not belong entirely to either the old master or the new, neither master can claim the 24-hour leniency. By the same token, Reb Elazar would invalidate the sale of Melog property because neither the husband nor the wife holds full ownership of it, as Anema ruled.
Okay, see that in that last sentence, that's the connection between Rebbe Elazar to the statement of a Maimar. When the husband and the wife sell the Niksei Malug, so he said the sale is no sale because neither one of them has a complete ownership over the Niksei Malug, and so therefore the sale will not work. It won't work at all. And to know the details of that, I think we're going to have to see the Rashi tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem. Okay. Very good, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Shavua Tov.
Shavua
Tov. Have a great day.
Good work, good show.
4 o'clock, Lou, right?
Yeah.